How to stay consistent. Kahit mahirap ang araw. You know that feeling when you wake up and the day already feels heavy. Even before anything actually happens. You planned things yesterday. You told yourself you'd start. You'd continue. You'd show up for yourself today. But then morning comes and there's this weight. Not dramatic, just there. And you're not even sure why it's harder today than it was before. You just know that it is. And maybe you've been here before, many times, where the intention is clear, but the follow-through feels like moving through something thick. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just here. In this space between knowing what you should do and actually being able to do it. And it's frustrating because you've done it before. You've been consistent before. So why does it feel like starting over every single time the day gets hard? People don't really talk about this part. The part where you're trying to build something, trying to be better, trying to stay on track, and then life just continues being life. Responsibilities don't pause. Work doesn't get lighter. Family still needs you. Bills still exist. And in the middle of all that, you're supposed to also be the person who doesn't break the chain, who keeps the momentum, who stays disciplined no matter what. That's the image, right? That's what we see. People who just keep going. But what we don't see is how many mornings they also woke up feeling like this. How many times they sat there for a few minutes longer than usual, just staring, just breathing, just trying to find the switch that makes them move. Because that's what happens to adults. You don't get the luxury of waiting until you feel like it. You don't get to reschedule your life around your mood. You just have to go. And somehow, in the middle of that, you're also supposed to stay consistent with the things that actually matter to you. The things no one will ask you about. The things that won't send you a reminder. The quiet commitments you made to yourself when no one was watching. And here's what makes it harder. Consistency isn't celebrated in real time. No one claps for you on day 3. No one notices on day 12. You don't get feedback. You don't get validation. You just keep going and hope that eventually it adds up to something. But in the middle of it, when the day is hard and you're tired and you still have to show up for yourself, it doesn't feel like progress. It just feels like effort. And that's the part people skip when they talk about discipline. They talk about results. They talk about transformation. They talk about the person you'll become. But they don't talk about the 40 quiet mornings where nothing felt different. Where you did the thing and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel powerful. It just felt done. And you went to bed wondering if it even mattered. I used to think consistency meant feeling strong every day. That if I was really committed, I'd wake up ready. I'd have that fire, that clarity, that sense of purpose that makes everything easy. And on the days I didn't feel that, I thought I was failing. I thought something was wrong with me. Because if I really wanted it, wouldn't it be easier? If I really cared, wouldn't I just do it without all this internal resistance? But that's not how it works. Consistency isn't about feeling a certain way. It's not about having the right emotion before you act. It's about acting regardless of the emotion. And that's uncomfortable to accept because we've been taught that motivation comes first, that you need the spark before you move. But in real life, the spark comes after. Sometimes long after. Sometimes it doesn't come at all and you just keep going anyway. What I started to realize is that the hard days aren't interruptions. They're not exceptions. They are the process. The easy days, those are the bonus. Those are the days you get for free. But the hard days, the ones where everything in you says stop, rest, skip it just this once, those are the days that build the thing you're actually trying to build. Because anyone can be consistent when it's easy. Anyone can show up when they feel like it. But the person who shows up when it's hard, that's someone who's becoming different. Not because they're tougher, not because they have more willpower, but because they've learned that the feeling doesn't have to match the action. You can feel heavy and still move. You can feel unsure and still begin. You can feel like it won't matter and still do it anyway. And that's the shift. It's not about pushing through with force. It's not about grinding until you break. It's about disconnecting the feeling from the doing. Most of us wait for alignment. We wait to feel ready. We wait for the conditions to be right. We wait for the day to feel lighter. But consistency doesn't wait. It just asks, can you do the smallest version of this right now? Not the full thing, not the perfect thing, just the next thing. And sometimes the next thing is so small it feels pointless. But that's actually the point. Because when the day is hard, the goal isn't to perform. The goal is to not disappear. The goal is to stay in contact with the thing you said mattered, even if it's just for 2 minutes, even if it's just a shadow of what you planned. Because what breaks consistency isn't one hard day. It's the belief that if you can't do it fully, you shouldn't do it at all. Let's say you told yourself you'd work out today. You had it planned, but then you didn't sleep well. Work was heavier than expected. Someone needed something from you. By the time you have a moment, you're exhausted. And the workout you planned, it feels impossible. So what do? Most people do nothing. Because if they can't do the full 30 minutes, the full routine, the full effort, it doesn't count. But that's where the break happens. That's where the gap forms. Not because you were weak, but because you were waiting for conditions that didn't come. But if you shift it, if you say, okay, I can't do 30 minutes, but I can do 5. I can't do the full workout, but I can stretch. I can't run, but I can walk around the block. Suddenly, you're still in it. You didn't disappear. You didn't break the thread. And that thread, that's what consistency actually is. It's not perfection. It's presence. Or you're trying to build a habit of reading. You set a goal, 30 minutes a day. And for a few days, it works. But then a hard day comes. You get home late. You're drained. You still have things to do. And sitting down for 30 minutes feels like one more thing you have to perform. So you skip it. And then the next day it's easier to skip again, because you already broke it once. But if instead you read 1 page, just 1, not because it's enough, but because it keeps you in the pattern. It keeps the identity alive, the identity of someone who reads, not someone who reads perfectly, just someone who doesn't let the hard days erase the habit entirely. That's the difference. Consistency isn't about maintaining intensity. It's about maintaining contact. And I'm not saying this to lower the bar. I'm saying it because the bar we set, it's often the thing that kills the consistency. We make it so rigid that the first time life pushes back, the whole thing collapses. But if you build it differently, if you build it with room to bend, it doesn't collapse. It adjusts. And that adjustment, that's not failure. That's sustainability. Because the people who stay consistent long-term, they're not the ones who never missed. They're the ones who missed and came back, who had a terrible week and still showed up on Friday, who fell off and didn't wait for Monday to restart. They just started again in the middle, in the mess, without announcement, without needing it to be perfect. You don't need a fresh start. You don't need to feel inspired. You don't need the day to cooperate. You just need to decide that today, even if it's hard, you're not going to vanish from your own life. You're going to do something, anything. That keeps you connected to the person you're trying to become. And some days, that's all it is. A single decision. Repeated quietly. Without applause. Without evidence that it's working. Just you and the thing you said mattered. Still in the same room. And, over time, that adds up in ways you can't predict. Not because every day was strong, but because enough days were present. And presence. That's the real skill. Not power, not perfection, just showing up. Again and again. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. I think about this a lot now. How we're told to build momentum, to create streaks, to never break the chain. And all of that sounds good. But it also sets us up to believe that one break means total failure. That if we miss once, we've lost. But that's not true. What you lose isn't the progress. What you lose is the belief that you can continue, and that belief, you can rebuild it today, right now. You don't need to go back to day one. You don't need to start over. You just need to continue. From here, from this hard day, from this exact moment where it feels too heavy, that's where real consistency lives, not in the easy days, but in the return, in the choice to keep going even when no one's watching, even when it doesn't feel like it's working, even when the only thing you have to offer is the smallest version of the thing, you still offer it, because that's how you stay consistent kahit mahirap ang araw. Not by being stronger, not by feeling better, but by showing up differently, by redefining what showing up even means, and by trusting that the days you didn't feel it, those still count. Maybe even more than the days you did. You'll have more hard days. That's just real. But you'll also have more chances, more opportunities to prove to yourself that you don't need perfect conditions. You don't need clarity. You don't need energy. You just need a small decision. And then another one. And then another one. That's it. That's the whole thing. And it's enough. Because over time, it becomes everything.